Welcome back to SpeakCast English, everyone. This is your daily English listening practice podcast, and I'm Andrew, your guide to sounding more natural in English.
And I'm Emma, your co-host and fellow language explorer. So glad to be here with all of you today.
It's great to have you, Emma. And for our listeners tuning in today, get ready for a really practical episode. We're on day 14 of our 100-day curriculum.
Oh, I'm already excited. I have a feeling this one is going to hit home for a lot of people. It definitely did for me recently.
Oh? What happened, Emma? Did you have an interesting encounter?
Andrew, you know I've been looking for a new apartment, right? Well, I finally found one I really liked, and I went to meet the landlord. Everything was going well, but then...
Go on, I'm intrigued.
He started asking me all these questions about my job, my previous landlord, why I was moving, and I answered them all, but I felt so passive, like I was just responding.
I know that feeling, like you're taking an exam, not having a conversation.
Exactly. And then, when it was my turn to ask questions, my mind just went blank. I wanted to ask about utilities, the rules for guests, even if the rent was negotiable. But all I could manage was, is it nice here? Emma laughs nervously.
Andrew chuckles. Oh, Emma, that's such a common experience. You feel completely caught off guard. It's like you put asterisk on the spot, and suddenly all your English just vanishes.
Caught off guard and on the spot, yes, that's exactly it. I felt so unprepared. And now I'm worried I didn't ask the right questions, or even any questions at all, that would help me make a good decision.
Well, don't worry, Emma. You're not alone. Many English learners and even native speakers feel intimidated when talking to a landlord or negotiating important terms. It's a high-stakes conversation.
It really is. I wish I had known how to politely ask about the rent, the utilities, or if there was any flexibility. I just wanted to be clear, but not rude, you know?
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We're going to help you and everyone listening feel more confident in these kinds of important conversations.
Yes, please tell me how to not just answer questions, but also how to ask my own. How to take charge of the conversation a little bit.
That's the aha moment right there, Emma. It's not just about answering, it's about being proactive. By the end of this episode, you'll know 3 practical phrases to ask about rent, utilities, and apartment rules, and even how to politely negotiate terms.
Oh, this is going to be a lifesaver. I'm already taking notes in my head.
Fantastic. So let's dive into your situation a bit more. When you were talking to the landlord, you said you felt passive. What specific questions did you wish you could have asked, but hesitated?
Well, first, the rent. He told me the price, but I didn't know if that included anything else. Like, did it include water or electricity? I just nodded.
Right. It's easy to assume, but assuming can be costly. You need to asterisk nail down the details.
Nail down the details. I like that. It sounds very specific.
It means to confirm or finalize the specific points or arrangements. You want to make sure you understand everything clearly.
Yes, exactly. And also, I wanted to know about the rules. Like, can I have friends over late sometimes? Is there a curfew for visitors? Or what about pets? I didn't see any, but I didn't ask.
Those are crucial questions. And sometimes, landlords don't volunteer all that information up front. You might need to asterisk read between the lines of what they say, but more often you need to ask directly.
Read between the lines, that means understanding something that isn't said directly, right?
Precisely. Sometimes a landlord might say, "This is a very quiet building," and that could be their subtle way of saying, "No loud parties." But it's always better to ask directly for clarification.
I see. And I also felt like I couldn't even think about negotiating. The idea of saying, "Is that the best price?" felt so aggressive.
I understand. That's a common hesitation. Many people feel uncomfortable negotiating, especially in a new language. But there are polite ways to do it. It's about creating a dialogue, not a confrontation.
So if I had to go back to that conversation, what's the first phrase I could have used to get more information about the rent or utilities without sounding demanding?
Excellent question, Emma. This brings us to our first key phrase for today. Could you clarify?
Could you clarify? Okay.
We use could you clarify when you want more specific or detailed information about something that has been said or something you're not sure about. It's a very polite way to ask for more explanation.
So instead of just saying, what about utilities, which sounds a bit abrupt.
Exactly. What about utilities is very direct, almost like an interrogation. A Vietnamese learner might use it because they want to be clear and direct. But in English, especially in a formal context like with a landlord, it can sound too blunt.
Oh, I see. So the politeness makes a big difference here.
A huge difference. So you could say something like, the rent is X dollars? Could you clarify what utilities are included in that amount? Or, regarding the apartment rules, could you clarify the policy on having guests?
Ah, that sounds so much better. It's still direct, but very polite. Emma tries to mimic the phrase. Could you clarify?
Perfect. Let's try it. Emma, repeat after me, slowly first, then at a natural speed. Could you clarify what's included in the rent?
Could you clarify what's included in the rent?
Good.
Could you clarify what's included in the rent?
Excellent. You got that natural flow. Remember, this phrase shows you're engaged and want to understand fully, which landlords appreciate.
That's really helpful. Okay, what about negotiating? How can I ask if the rent is flexible without sounding like I'm trying to lowball them?
That's a great point. You don't want to seem like you're trying to take advantage. Our second phrase is perfect for this. Is there any flexibility on?
Is there any flexibility on? Okay, I like the sound of that.
This phrase is used when you want to politely inquire if a particular term, condition, or price can be changed or negotiated. It opens the door for discussion without demanding anything.
So it's not like saying, can I pay less? Or change the price, which would be too direct, right?
Precisely. Can I pay less? Can sound demanding or even a bit rude in some situations, especially if you haven't established a rapport. A common mistake for Vietnamese learners might be to translate a very direct question from Vietnamese, which might be perfectly polite in their culture, but comes across as abrupt in English.
That makes total sense. I wouldn't want to offend them. So I could say, is there any flexibility on the monthly rent, or is there any flexibility on the move-in date?
Exactly. Or even, is there any flexibility on the lease term, if you're hoping for a shorter or longer contract? It's polite and professional.
Let me try that. Andrew, is there any flexibility on the move-in date?
Excellent. Now a little faster, more natural.
Is there any flexibility on the move-in date?
Perfect. You're not forcing the issue. You're just asking if there's an option. Sometimes the answer will be no, but sometimes they might say yes. And if you don't ask, you'll never know.
That's so true. I regret not asking now. Okay, so I've clarified utilities and I've asked about flexibility. What about understanding the whole process? Like, once I decide, what happens next?
That's a crucial step, Emma. You need to understand the asterisk typical process to avoid any surprises. Our third phrase for today is, what's the typical process for?
What's the typical process for? This sounds like it covers all the bases.
It does. We use this phrase to ask about the standard steps or procedures for something. It shows you're serious and want to understand how things work.
So instead of just saying, what do I do next? Which sounds a bit vague, or tell me how to sign the lease, which is too direct.
Yes. What do I do next is okay, but what's the typical process for is more formal and comprehensive. It implies there's a standard procedure you want to follow. A common mistake might be asking very specific, isolated questions without understanding the overall flow. For example, when do I pay? Instead of understanding the payment schedule within the whole process.
I see. So it helps you understand the whole system, not just one part. So I could ask, what's the typical process for applying for the apartment? Or what's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues?
Precisely. Or, what's the typical process for signing the lease agreement? It shows you're thinking ahead and want to be prepared.
Okay, I'm going to try this one. Slowly first. What's the typical process for applying for the apartment?
Good. Now, natural speed.
What's the typical process for applying for the apartment?
Fantastic, Emma. You nailed it. These three phrases will really help you take control and get the information you need in a polite and effective way.
Wow, I feel so much more confident already. I wish I had known these before. It would have saved me so much awkwardness.
That's what we're here for. Now let's practice putting some of these phrases together. This is where we do a little shadowing practice. I'll say a sentence, first slowly, then at a natural pace, and Emma will repeat it. Then, you at home, you can practice along with Emma. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. First sentence. Could you clarify what utilities are included in the rent? Andrew speaks slowly. Could you clarify what utilities are included in the rent?
Emma repeats slowly. Could you clarify what utilities are included in the rent?
Now at a natural pace. Could you clarify what utilities are included in the rent?
Emma repeats at natural pace. Could you clarify what utilities are included in the rent?
Great job. Notice how Emma kept the intonation rising slightly at the end of rent, because it's a question. That's a good detail to pay attention to.
That little rise makes it sound more natural, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, next sentence. Using our second phrase, is there any flexibility on the lease term? Andrew speaks slowly. Is there any flexibility on the lease term?
Emma repeats slowly. Is there any flexibility on the lease term?
Now, natural speed. Is there any flexibility on the lease term?
Emma repeats at natural pace. Is there any flexibility on the lease term?
Excellent, Emma. You're making it sound very smooth. One more, using our third phrase. What's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues? Andrew speaks slowly. What's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues?
Emma repeats slowly. What's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues?
Now, natural speed. What's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues?
Emma repeats at natural pace. What's the typical process for reporting maintenance issues?
Fantastic, Emma. You've really got a handle on these. And I hope all our listeners at home were practicing along with you. It's so important to not just understand, but to actually say these phrases out loud.
It really helps to build that muscle memory for speaking. I always feel a bit silly at first, but then it just clicks.
That's the key. So, to recap, today we learned 3 powerful phrases to help you take control of important conversations, especially when dealing with landlords. First, could you clarify, forgetting specific details? Second, is there any flexibility for politely negotiating? And third, what's the typical process for understanding procedures?
These are definitely going into my mental toolbox for my next apartment viewing. No more just nodding awkwardly for me.
That's the spirit. Remember, it's not just about answering questions. It's about asking your own and being proactive in understanding all the terms. It helps you make better decisions and shows confidence.
Thank you, Andrew. This was incredibly helpful.
You're very welcome, Emma, and to all our amazing listeners, thank you for practicing with us today.
We have a challenge for you. In the comments below, tell us about a time you felt caught off guard in an English conversation, and try to use one of today's phrases to describe what you wish you could have asked.
Yes, we love reading your comments. Please like this video if you found today's lesson useful.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our daily English listening practice episodes.
Leave a comment with your favorite phrase from today, or tell us about a situation where you'll use these new phrases. Before we finish, let's do a quick recap of today's main ideas and the most useful phrases.
Pick 1 or 2 expressions and try them in real life today, even in a very short conversation.
Thank you for listening today. We hope this episode helped you practice real English. You've been listening to SpeakCast English. Thanks for practicing with us, and see you next time on SpeakCast English.